Hello, this testimonial interview is with Donna Smith, who has been with us in the Homemade Method for 2 years now. She joined in July 2021. Hello, Donna. Thank you so
Hi.
much for joining me. So let's get to questions. I would love to hear what things were like prior to joining the program, the Homemade Method, with your weight and blood numbers.
I think my weight that was highest was 225, and blood numbers, I've always had high cholesterol and high blood pressure. I don't have the numbers from that long ago, but yeah, so I was on medication for that, and I can tell you later that's improved.
Awesome. So you joined to lose weight and lower your cholesterol and high blood pressure numbers. Sweet. And
Mhm.
you're on medication for both of those?
I was.
Okay. Wonderful. So what was your cooking and eating like prior to joining Homemade Method?
Well, I was working in a restaurant and I was surrounded by food all day. I was in the back kitchen cooking some of the staple items and tasting all day long. And of course, fried food and deep fried food was a big part of what I was eating. And I've never eaten enough vegetables. So that was a problem. um, yeah. So at some point, there was a book I read called Diets Don't Work. And I decided I wasn't going to do any more diets ever again. And I hadn't been a big dieter before, but when Dean Ornish brought out his heart healthy books, that was low fat, I think, and pretty restrictive. And I followed that for a while. I also spent a year or so trying out vegan eating. So I was down to 205, I think, and then I gained again. So I think right when I started the program, I weighed 216. Yeah.
So it sounds like you were kind of not super into dieting, but when you did diet, you had this yo-yo, the classic yo-yo effect. You'd be on the
Yeah.
diet, you'd lose some weight, you stop the diet, you gain it back.
Yeah.
And so that fluctuating, and that in conjunction with your many years of restaurant work, working in the kitchen, tasting all the different foods you were cooking, which is a part of your job, right? But tasting things that were like fried food, not eating enough vegetables, all culminated with extra weight and raising your cholesterol levels to unhealthy levels, and also raising your blood pressure, which is right, all correlated. The cholesterol and the blood pressure are specifically correlated. So it sounds like you tried a few other diets prior to joining Homemade. You tried, well, and then you read the diets. At what point did you read the Diets Don't Work book?
Oh, years ago, 20 years ago,
Okay.
probably.
Okay.
Or yeah.
So you've been on this like active trying to get away from diets for a little bit of time, right? Significant amount of time.
The author in that book said you can be fat and happy, or you can be fat and unhappy, or you can be happy or thin and unhappy.
Yeah.
Choose what you want. So I said, well, I'm not going to diet, so I guess I'll live with it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, I love that you were kind of veering away from dieting because it was making you so unhappy. Because it's brutal. It's so hard. It's so hard on the ego and the just like your mental well-being because you constantly feel like you're failing all the time. Well, now let's talk about some fun stuff. I want to shift gears and talk a little bit about what results you got once you started cooking and eating with the Homemade Method.
Well, right away, I easily lost 16 pounds. And I know I could lose more if I worked at it more, but over the last year or more, I've maintained that loss without any problem. So I think I've done the easy stuff, and now I need to work more on working the program a little more.
Yeah. So I love that you lost 16 pounds like effortlessly, it sounds like. And you've been able to maintain that, which is a sign that you're not dieting, you're just cooking and eating a little bit differently that serves your health, right? You're nourishing your body, you're learning how to eat for satisfaction. I actually would love to offer you a little bit more support. So if and when you want it, um, to take it to the next level, if you're ready, if and when you're ready, I think we could find some small tweaks because it doesn't have to be like anything major, right? You can get off a plateau with something simple. It's just the consistency that's key. And I think you've kind of like, right, you've entered that first level and you've been able to maintain it. If you're open to it, you can always hit me up. I'm glad to help.
Okay, great.
Yeah, of course, Donna. So proud of you to get this, like easily losing 16 pounds, I think to most people is kind of mind-blowing, right? And being able to keep it off without an issue and just being like, okay, great, awesome, I feel good. Like I'm gonna keep on doing this and I'm not gonna worry about going to the next level because I feel great. Um, so let's talk a little bit about how you lost this 16 pounds. Like how did you get these results? What did you change about your cooking and eating?
Well, I started eating a lot more vegetables. I
Hmm.
started trying recipes that I didn't know that I would like for sure, but like the cauliflower topping on a chicken casserole. I remember that one, um, instead of mashed potatoes. So just trying recipes. Um, I changed to more healthy fats than I was using before. I pretty much within the first 3 weeks or so quit craving sugar so much.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the things I crave now are more like salty snacks. Um, yeah, and let's see. Hmm, At the same time I started changing my diet, I started walking. So I walk about a mile every day in the winter and spring and fall. And in the summer, I've been trying to do 2 times a day. So I think that's made a big difference too, just moving more. Um, what else do we change when we change like to healthy fats, but more fiber?
Yeah,
Uh, I've always been a bean eater. I've had lots of beans in my diet. Um,
that's wonderful.
yeah.
That's great. Super affordable, great source of fiber and protein, excellent for cholesterol. So I'm glad to hear it.
And
Um,
my restaurant work stopped because of COVID, so I wasn't at work doing all that stuff.
oh, okay, yeah, that'll make a big difference.
So I retired.
Congratulations. Um, Yes, absolutely. I think shifting out of also just like having just being constantly around food. Did you find that once you stopped restaurant work, you were still preoccupied with food, or were you able to shift your mindset easily?
I've looked at how your early eating habits affect the rest of your life. And my mom grew up in the Depression. And so I think she kind of handed me straight over some of her distress things about food. And, but I was never heavy until college when I went away from home. And there was this buffet every day in the cafeteria that had all the things I could want as much as I wanted. I gained weight. And then I had a baby in my 30s and gained more weight. So, yeah, it's just been building, building, building.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. Well, I love hearing about how you've shifted your cooking and eating habits. I think that it very much like not being around food all the time, um, is a huge help, right? And like just having more time to focus on yourself and your health, but also being open to eating recipes that you weren't quite sure of, giving them a try and being pleasantly surprised, right? So it's finding new ways to incorporate nourishing ingredients into meals that taste delicious, right? You know all about food that tastes good. You've worked in a kitchen. So it's shifting how you make that food taste good. Using a little less less butter and salt and a little bit more fresh herbs and vegetables and fruits in season, things like that. I also love that you started walking in conjunction with starting the program. It's such a vital part of helping you not only manage your cholesterol and your blood pressure, but also help you like boost your metabolic function in general, balance your blood sugars, especially after meals, help you feel energized throughout the day, help you lose weight, help your boost your metabolism. So I love, love, love that. And the fact that you've done it consistently is so major. I think that people get caught up when they think about exercise and they think if I don't do it perfectly, then it's never going to work. And that absolutely can be said about our program as well. People will be like, oh, if I can't do it perfectly, it's not going to work. And right, you're showing that like that's not the case. Like all you have to do is a little bit consistently every day, and you get to see these amazing results. And so that's really promising. I love that so much.
So walking has become such a habit that I really miss it if I don't go.
Oh man, I can relate. Absolutely. It's a way to clear your head too and just kind of reset. Um, well, thank you so much for sharing. I would love to shift a little bit and talk about the members only group. You have been so vocal and wonderful and the past year of just really showing up for yourself there by posting things that you're doing and commenting on other members. So how have you experienced this group? What's it been like for you?
I mean, I love talking about food. I love reading recipe books. I love all that. I do center a whole lot of my thinking around food. And it's fun to post photos of what I cook and have somebody admire them. But it's just, people post things and then that inspires me to try that recipe or think about something. And I hope that whatever I can contribute would help somebody else. And yeah, it's just been, I hardly interact on Facebook in any other way besides this.
I love that. So it's been really beneficial to you. And I love that I think that's really beautiful that you are inspired by other members, but also equally want to be mutually inspirational to others as well. It's a give and take, right? You're able to create relationships within the program, not only with the coaches, but with other members. And that's such a huge, huge way to stay accountable.
Mhm.
Um, so I love that. Have you ever utilized any of the coaching? I'm curious. I don't.
No, I haven't, except I've asked questions on the Facebook.
Okay, well, hit me up. Let's chat a little bit. I
I-
love it. And then the last question is just what would you say to someone who's on the fence about joining the membership?
Oh, I've had such good results, and I think this program makes so much sense. Um, I'd say give it a try. You can always decide if you don't want to keep going, but
Yeah.
it's something you can try that's beneficial.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Donna. Such a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you for your time and energy.